Hey there, this is Christina with leadsandleverage.com, and I'm coming at you today, or to you today, with another episode of The Ribbit Show. So I hope you enjoy today's show. We're going to talk about what happens when a lead source dries up. That's always a top concern that we have. Is Facebook going to be around? Blogging changes. What happens if you're not allowed to door knock anymore? What happens if everyone goes to phone or goes all to cell phones and there's no phone directories anymore? And ways to get phone numbers. What happens? What do you do? How do you keep growing your business when lead sources dry up? We're going to talk about that today. So if you are watching this in replay, do me a favor. Down below or to the side, comment. Let me know that you are here. Let me know that you're watching. Let me know where you're watching from. That's awesome. I'd love to know that. And the question of the day today. My question of the day is going to be for you, what lead generation source do you like the most? Not what you think other people have said to do, not what you think you should be doing, but which one do you like the most? What is it? What does that look like for you? So definitely comment. Let me know you're here. Let me know where you're popping in from, and tell me what's your favorite lead generation source for you. And as I said, we're going to talk about what happens when a lead source dries up for you. What do you do? How do you change? How do you switch? How do you shift? We're going to talk about that today. Excuse me. So if you're watching me live, comment below. Let me know that you're here with me. Let me know where you're popping in from. And my question of the day for everybody is, what is your favorite lead generation source? What's your favorite lead generation source? Share that with me. Let me know what it is. So we have to talk about this. What happens if a lead source dries up? What do you do? What have you done? One of the big questions that I always get from people, especially because I teach you guys how to leverage Facebook, one of the big questions that I'm always getting is, well, what do I do if Facebook dies? What if I do, what happens if Facebook goes the way MySpace went? What happens if something new, bigger, better comes along? What happens? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what to do. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff on this. So the question is, hey Donna, the question is, what happens when a lead source dries up? So first of all, when you're going, oh my goodness, when you're projecting. So the first thing is honestly, we worry about way too much. We're focused too much. We're almost too worried about lead sources drying up. And here's what I mean by that. So we look at Facebook and we go, oh my goodness, what happens if Facebook is no longer there? And this is what happens. We think, if Facebook dries up, I'm not gonna be able to get leads. So then we don't try to get leads. See, that's the bad piece. Not everybody does this, but a lot of us do. We think, oh, it's gonna dry up, so I don't wanna base my business in that. And so here's the thing. When you're doing real estate lead generation, it's all about your layers. What's going on with your layers? How many layers or how many legs of a stool do you have going for you? Because let's be honest, if you're a door knocker, if you like going to neighborhoods and door knocking, if you live where I live, there's about 6 months of the year that you simply cannot do that, just from weather alone. But then if you're starting to see a lot more of the communities being built that are gated communities that have very strict rules about door knocking, that's a lead source disappearing for you. What about phone calls? You make phone calls. What happens, we're already going there, guys. What happens when you can't get people's phone numbers? They're not listed anywhere because people change phone numbers like they change email addresses now. We used to have like one phone number. It was our landline, and we had it for years, the whole time. It would move with us wherever we moved. That was our landline. Well, now we have cell phones, and cell phones are a dime a dozen, and we change carriers constantly, just like we change email. So phone numbers are going away. They're not going away, but being able to find them and use them and call them, going away. So that's another lead source that looks like it's drying up. But here's the thing. Until they disappear, you should be using all of your lead sources. It's about layering those lead generation sources. It's about having multiple layers. Some take longer to bring to fruition. For example, online lead generation. They take longer. However, some are more stable. Some are more consistent. Some are change how your business is going to go. And so you need all of these layers. So if you're first getting in the business, and I actually had a conversation with Tim Harris on his podcast a week or two ago about this, and I didn't actually get, the conversation went in another direction, so I didn't get actually to go deeper on this. But a question he asked me was, he said, what would you advise new people, new agents, new people getting into the business to do? And he was kind of shocked at my answer. I said, I would advise them to start to get their website, start blogging, and get Facebook going. And I wanted to go deeper with that. And he was like, oh, no. You need to get people out face to face with people. But we went another direction in the conversation, but what was missed was neither answer is wrong. Both answers are right. However, if you are doing lead generation right now and you are focused on the immediacy, like what you need immediately, and that's all you focus on, that's all you're ever going to be able to focus on, because you're not building that bottom layer. You're not building the layers that take longer. So you need to be building these layers so that when a lead source dries up, you've got other layers, you've got other legs of the stool. So, think about this. We have these lead sources and we're not sure what to do, and we're building our presence on Facebook, and we're doing, building our website traffic, but the algorithms change constantly. Here's what you ultimately need to be doing, whether you're doing face-to-face or phone-to-phone or door-to-door or Facebook or Google Ads or PPC or blogging or charity events, whatever you're doing, all of these, every single one of these, you need to be building your list. You need to build your list. What do I mean? In real estate, we need to be growing our database, putting people into our database. But here's the reality of that. Just putting people into your database and doesn't do squat for you. You've actually got to put people into your list, your email list. Yes, you should be doing other things. But again, this is one of those layers. You should be doing email. You should be doing snail mail. You should be doing phone calls. You should be in-person visits. You should have all those layers. But on the very bottom, over the long term, you need to be building your email list so that when a lead source dries up, you still have a consistent, stable business as you are bringing in and implementing other and new lead sources. So there's a whole reason why I teach you guys the way I teach you, and why I say that the first thing you need to do is be building your web blogging, your Facebook, and your email. Those are the most important, and everything else drives into them. Phone to phone, face to face, door to door, all of that should be driving into this whole thing. So the real thing is, this is what you should be doing when a lead source dries up. Hey, Tony, asking for help. What do you need help on? So when I talk about that, and when I was talking with Tim, I missed getting that chance because we went another direction. Like I said, getting that chance to say it's about your layers. And if you're not building your long-term layers, your consistency, your stable layers now, you're always going to be scrambling, which is what most agents do. 80% of agents get into real estate and are done in less than 2 years. 80% gone in 2 years. Why? Because we chase the immediacy, because we're told to go out and door knock and phone call and this, and we don't have any backup for that. We don't take those things that we did, whatever it is, and we don't put them into a source that we're constantly nurturing. We're going out and hitting all of this cold traffic in a sense. We're going out and trying to use branding, and we're not actually building relationships. And so email, a consistent snail mails campaign, that kind of process builds relationships if you do it right. If you send out canned crap, not going to help you. But the point is you need to be driving into that so that when you're affected by the market, by a shift in the market, if it goes from buyers to sellers, you got them in your database, you've got them in your list that you are nurturing. If it shifts from not being able to sell anything, nobody's buying, nothing's selling, but there's a lot of rentals or a lot of people wanting to rent, and you're dealing with investors, you can shift with that. as you're building your list, when you build your list, overall transactions go down. But when you've got a list of people that you've been building a relationship with, there is always a certain percent of people that will buy or sell regardless of what is going on in the market, because they have other desires. It's why places like Bed Bath & Beyond, who are constantly giving out coupons, and you're like, why would anybody shop here without a coupon? Well, because if you actually want something and you don't have a coupon, or you need something, you're going to go do it. It's the same thing with a house. If you need to sell because you're relocating, or you need to offload the debt or whatever it is, and the market's tanked, you're going to sell. You're still going to sell even though you're selling at a loss. If you need to buy and interest rates have gone up, you're going to buy regardless. So that's my point with this, is there's always going to be a percentage of people buying and selling. Now, right now, prices are jumping up, at least in our market. Prices are jumping up, sales are jumping up. It's the best market that we've had in about 10 years, which is still not the best market that we've ever had, because 10 years ago is when the market started to tank. So it's still one of the best markets that we've ever had. But I'm watching this going, oh, okay, we're going to plateau out. So, we're going to plateau at some point. But agents, people are getting in and getting all excited, but there are only so many transactions. And if you don't have a database of people that are constantly in the journey of the process, so that some people are coming out at different places on the journey and ready to buy or sell, if you don't have that, then your cold calling, your door knocking, and all this other stuff and ads, they're not going to help you, because you're going to be fighting for the same number of people with all of these agents who also need to feed themselves. So you need to prepare for lead sources drying up, and not just lead sources drying up, the market drying up, by building your list and staying in contact. And I don't mean throwing out canned crap. I mean staying in conversational contact via email is fine. Staying in conversational contact with your list. You need to be nurturing it over the long haul. Here's an example. One of the longest people that we ever took to convert, they came into our list right in the height of the investor market in 2004, okay? The height of the investor market. That's when they came into our list. They were looking at investment properties, etc. They stayed in our list for 54 months, almost 5 years, so 4.5 years. And that was from 2004. In the middle of 2008, crash. Guys, it started crashing in 2006, but we didn't notice until 2008, okay? Unless you were working with investors. We noticed the third week of May 2006. The rest of the world didn't really notice until somewhere in end of 2007, 2008. Here's the thing. 4.5 years later, 2008, in the middle of the crash, you know what they did? That lead bought. They bought a house because that's what they needed to do. And my point with it, we stayed in contact with them. We kept them on our list. We stayed in contact. And so because we didn't have to compete with anyone else for that person. And that's why you want to build your list to make you and your business impervious to lead sources drying up, to shifting markets. You'll be affected, but not like other people. You'll still be in business. You'll still be feeding your family. You'll still be surviving and thriving, unlike 80% of agents who are dead in the water, not in the business after 2 years. So that's the importance of this. And you've got to be layering, and you've got to be bringing all these layers into your list. So I'm kind of on a big soapbox on this. What do you guys think? How do you feel about that? Do you understand, when we say add them to your database, I'm using different words. Excuse me, I'm using different words because we put people in our database and just really don't do anything with them. I'm saying list because very specifically an email list, not a real estate CRM, guys. I'm talking an email marketing software, an email marketing system like MailChimp or ConvertKit or Entreport. Something that can actually help you get emails into the inbox. And then every single week you have a conversation with your list to stay in relationship with them, to stay in conversation with them. So what are your questions? What are your thoughts? My question of the day was, first of all, let me know that you're here. My question of the day was, hey, What's your favorite lead generation source? I'm just curious what it is. Not picking on them. I just want to know what it is. So Tony had asked for help. Donna says, hi, how are you guys? Let me know that you're here. I'll stay on as long as you're asking questions and I can help you. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap it up because I don't want to waste anybody's time. I'll give you just a few seconds. Hey, Barbara, to give me some questions because there's always a little bit of a delay between when you type the question and I see it. How are you guys today? I hope everybody's well. I kind of went into my, I don't want to say rampage because I wasn't angry, but into my just really helping you guys. I mean, we forget, we compete against every other agent for the same few people who are doing something right now. And while that's not a bad thing, if that's all we do, we'll always be doing that. And the goal is to build a long-term sustained business so that you're always bringing people into your pipeline, but the people that you're converting are the people who are ready now. Yeah, Donna says, my number one source for leads is my website, IDX registrations. You know, outside of investor leads, because we did direct mail for investor leads, and we actually worked with a lot of real estate investment clubs, and we did a lot of presentations. So outside of that, IDX registrations was ours also. Very fabulous. If you use them right and do them right, fabulous way to bring in leads. Fabulous way. Any other questions, you guys? Thoughts? Contributions? Do you disagree with me? Definitely. If you do, tell me why. Tell me what it is that you disagree with. What do you think that should be done? What have you seen different than what I've experienced or what I've seen? Share that with me. Are you guys liking the Ribbit shows? Are you liking the episodes? Let me know whether you're live or in comment or in replay. Let me know. How do you like these? Do you like that I'm taking your questions and trying to give you a good place to draw from? Excuse me, water. To draw from, to utilize a source to use? Actually, I'm really excited that the internet has been really decent for this one. No weak connection. Doesn't look like we've had any glitches on Facebook either. This is good. I'm very excited. Frank really likes the shows. Awesome. I am loving doing these with you guys because, of course, I get to know you guys. I love this. And I also, you know, if you've ever Netflix binged before, I know I do that when I find somebody I want to listen to or follow. I tend to watch like a whole bunch of stuff. And I was like, oh, I guess if people are doing that here, I need to get stuff out there so they can do that. So I'm kind of doing that too. Donna's like, I love your Rubits. Barbara says, I'm a 4-month agent, still exploring and getting things together, going to get my Facebook page together this weekend. Awesome, Barbara. So now I have a challenge for you. I'm going to challenge you, Barbara. So you're still exploring and getting things together. Here's what I want to challenge you to do. I want to challenge you that you stop exploring and you stop getting things together and implement. And here's what I mean by that. Perfection is not progress. Progress is a good thing. You want to implement. So here's the thing. If you're going to build your Facebook page this weekend, put a deadline on it. I'm going to go through the Facebook page setup strategy workshop, which you guys, if you want that workshop, it is $7. If you go to the link above where I have the checklist, you can go to the checklist, and the very next page after you get the checklist, it's the option for you to buy the $7 workshop. So if you do that, you can get that. But Barbara, what I'm saying is set yourself a deadline. Say in the next 7 days, I'm going to go through and implement the workshop. Then in the next 7 days beyond that, I'm going to research whatever your next thing is. And my deadline for research is this. And then you set an implementation. So you have to set a deadline for gathering and going. You just got to get it in. And sometimes we're afraid, but let me tell you, consistency trumps creativity every single time. Implementation is what's going to get you progress. So you're never going to learn it all. Never. First of all, because there's too much to learn. Second of all, because every single moment, more is being created. So just give that concept up. You're not going to learn it all. Implement now. It's okay. It's okay if it's not perfect. You can tweak it and make it better. That is the goal. Anyway, so a whole nother little training thing. Thank you, Barbara, for sharing that. Because actually, I was in a training or I was in a group coaching, with someone, and I was being coached, or group coaching, and this other person was on the not the pedestal, but they're the one who were, the coach was working with, and I was listening, and they were saying, yeah, I've been researching this and I've been doing this. And they asked how long they'd been doing that. And it like something it was something, I don't remember the exact thing, but I just remember them saying they'd been doing it for 6 or 7 months. And they were like, well, why haven't you implemented anything? Because I don't know everything about it yet. And the point is that they hadn't broken it up into pieces and started implementing things. They hadn't done any implementation. And so the coach was working through, well, okay, what's your concern? What's your fear? Why haven't you implemented? So when you shared that, brought that back to me, and I thought, yeah, that's a big thing. We tend not to implement, which is why we don't make progress. So definitely get that page set up, get all the pieces on it, set yourself a deadline, calendar it, put it on your calendar. Don't say I'm going to try. Don't say I want to. Put it on your calendar, and don't break that appointment with yourself. Put it several days of it. Don't break that appointment with yourself. So definitely do that. Definitely. You can do it. Awesome. Any other questions, you guys? Any other thoughts? I'm having a blast doing these with you guys. I plan on doing them just about daily all through most of August. I am probably taking 3 days off in August. I think, because I think I'm going to go on a little trip with my mom. But otherwise, I am staying with you. September is going to be a little bit different because I got a couple of business things that I'm traveling for. That will be interesting. So you guys might get some kind of crazy ribbit shows. I'll be in San Diego, and then I'll be in LA, and a couple different things, and they won't be my typical background. They'll be more on the fly, a little bit shakier. So those will be interesting, but hey, it is what it is. I love this. I love that I have these resources for you guys. Frank, I called my MailChimp, you called your MailChimp database the weekly news list. It guilts me into actually doing it weekly. It does. If you guys have one person on your list, just one, you need to show that commitment, and you need to show that consistency, because you're building know, like, and trust relationships. And if you're not getting into their email box every single week, and that's what they're expecting, and that's what you've told them, then guess what? They can't trust you if you're lying. And you may not, it's not setting out the intention to lie, but if you don't do it, they perceive you as that. So that's a great thing, Frank. And you don't even have to name it. Just put that on your commitment. Mine is on my calendar. Every single Monday, I write out all my emails that go out for the week, because I have one for members and I have one for my email community. And then I make sure that my blog post is ready to go for the week, and boom, there we go. So I put that out there, and it's on my calendar, and I don't compromise, because those are important. Those are my relationship with you guys. Same with real estate. They're my relationship with you. They're your relationship with your prospective clients, with people who want to get to know you. It is the best way. Brochures suck. Business cards, sales, not so great. But when you're putting out content and value that people want to see, and you're driving the right traffic to it, people who will actually use your services, guess what? That changes everything. And you can use it and leverage it. So I've had a lot of ribbits on all these different things. So, the big thing was, what happens? Somebody asked me, what happens if Facebook goes away? It's like, well, what happens if a lead source dries up? This is what happens. So I went over it all previously in the previous minutes of this episode. So, any other thoughts, you guys? Any other questions? I love your interaction. Love it. I've got another ribbit show scheduled for tomorrow at 10:30 Pacific. And we're actually I'm going to show you the all-time perfect lead generation funnel. Yeah. I'm going to show that one. I'm going to show it to you. And you're going to be shocked or surprised. You'll see what it is. If you have any other questions and you're watching this on replay, go ahead and put your comments below. And thanks for joining. Let me know that you're here. Have a fabulous afternoon, you guys. I will talk to you later, and I will see you in tomorrow's episode of The Ribbit Show. Thanks.